Football is our religion. The One Call Stadium is our church. Nigel Clough is the God we choose to believe in, and by name, I am your priest. We're back for 2022. This is the Sunday Sermon. The Stags took championship promotion chasers Middlesbrough to the wire yesterday in the FA Cup third round. A late, heartbreaking goal, a combination of John Joe O'Toole and Elliot Hewitt, saw the Stags crash out of the FA Cup in the 94th minute, after the Stags came from 2 goals down to make it 2-2 and game on. Can Mansfield Town use that comeback, use that desire, use that strength, use that unity to drive them on for the remainder of the season with only league action to focus on? Or will they let the fact that it could have been a trip to Manchester United or Aston Villa in round 4 haunt them and ruin the next few days? One thing is for sure, the Stags need to focus ahead of the visit of Swindon Town to One Call Stadium on Tuesday night as we get back to the bread and butter. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments and have your say on your team. What did you enjoy about yesterday? Was Danny Johnson's goal onside? And answer the big question. In the next 45 minutes, will super sub Alan Wilson do anything more to hurt himself? More on that in a couple of seconds' time. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast, and this is the Sunday Sermon. Good evening and welcome to the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast, and I'm going to be honest, I've missed doing these. It's the Sunday Sermon, the reaction to yesterday's game, Mansfield Town 2, Middlesbrough 3 in the FA Cup third round. What a cup tie it was. As always, get involved in the comments and have your say on your team. What did you make of the cup tie? What did you make of the performances? And much, much more in between. Joining me to talk over all things FA Cup and all things Mansfield Town, we've got the blind stag, Mr. Nathan Edge. Good evening.
Evening, gents. Evening, everyone.
And the man who I referred to in the intro as to whether he'd break anything else in the next 45 minutes, accident-prone Al, the voice of the Stags, Mr. Alan Wilson. Tell us all about it. What have you done now?
Fell off my bike on Black Ice, Craig, and broke my finger and my leg.
Oh dear. Well, we wish you a speedy recovery, but you know, that does, as long as it's we've still got your face and your voice, that's all that matters, mate. And as long as you've still got half a brain to, you know, cash your mind back, you're all right. Although, having said that, you know, I saw you when I was going into the grounds yesterday because we both go through the same media entrance, and you were being wheeled in on your wheelchair. I mean, you usually carried it on your throne, so there was nothing different there, but one thing you can usually do is you can walk around and you can get a different view of the game. Was it difficult for you yesterday not being able to see basically 75-80% of the pitch?
Yes, very difficult. So I changed views after 10 minutes. I couldn't stand it any longer.
Oh dear. Well, this could be an interesting podcast because we've got you that could only see 20% of the pitch and Nathan who could see, as always, nothing.
Great lineup here we've got.
Absolutely. We'll delve
could
into
be worse.
comments.
We could have Cam.
That is very, very true. And on a Sunday, he would be wearing that clobber as well. So we won't go there. Right, let's delve straight into the action, Nath. Yesterday, FA Cup third round exit in the end to Middlesbrough. But what a fight back from Mansfield Town again. We are just a team at the moment who just does not give in.
Yeah, I mean, people say the magic of the FA Cup has been lost. It really hasn't. Not for me. You know, we've had 3 cracking games, and even though we eventually been knocked out by a Championship side, leaving that stadium, yes, it was gutting to concede so late, but every single person that I noticed leaving that ground, with nothing but praise and said, how well did we play? And even the Middlesbrough supporters, the response from them on social media and their manager, it just goes to show how well we did do on Saturday, and that wasn't just a fluke. We've been like that for weeks. So to do that against a Championship opposition just shows how far we've come in a few months.
I certainly think we can take a lot of pride away from yesterday, Alan. One of the things which sort of resonated the most with me, and you'll have seen it as well when you were sort of packing things down at the end of the game, was the fact that pretty much every Stags fan stayed in the stadium, applauding, cheering, like we'd won in the last minute rather than like we'd lost in the last minute. It was great to see.
Yeah, and it's been like that for the last couple of games, hasn't it, Craig? And good evening to everybody, by the way. I didn't get a chance earlier on when I was talking to Craig. And it was nice to see. It's nice to see everybody being there and applauding the team off, and all the reserves, Marek Steck and everybody else doing their bit and coming over, and even their keeper applauding our crowd.
Yeah, the newly promoted Marek Steck, of course, Nath, because George Shelby has been recalled by Nottingham Forest. Do we need to bring in another keeper, or are we just happy to promote Steck to number 2?
I mean, it's not the worst keeper, is it? And
No.
I know he's had some bad games with us last season, but a lot of keepers make mistakes. So to have on the bench, I mean, I think he'd probably get into a first team in this league. So to have him on the bench, it's not the end of the world, is it? As long as there must have been something else behind the scenes. Whatever that was, if it's been dealt with, then why not?
I did hear a rumour through the rumour mill. I'm not going to name the club, but there was a Premier League team that wanted to take him on loan, according to a few rumours that are going around, to be their training keeper. So why he didn't take up that opportunity, I don't know. He could have played in like the one of the cups or something, but there you go. Anyway, let's delve into the comments and go back to yesterday. This is, of course, the Sunday Sermon, the place for you to talk all things yesterday's game. So get your comments in now and have your say on your team. Mark has kicked us off this evening by saying, "Evening, guys." Another marker said, "Well played yesterday, boys. Absolutely gutted." Andy's been in touch and says, "Performances like that against quality opposition will see us promoted via the playoffs. I have foreseen it." Well, let's hope so. Let's not go for Mystic Meg. Let's go for Mystic Andy. Clive says, "Good evening, fellas. Sorry that I couldn't participate. I'm in the Lake District." Great for you, Clive. I hope you're having a great break. Although, you need to time these things better, because aren't we up in the Lake District like a week on Saturday anyway? So maybe get that out in your calendar, Clive. A bit more foreplanning, but I hope you have a great break, mate, and we'll see you when you get back. Andy's added, DJ's goal was onside, but if it had stood, then that cracking second goal wouldn't have happened. Hard to say if things would have been different or had it stood. Yeah, let's delve into that one, Alan, because absolute mad. The last time, of course, we saw Danny Johnson, he was limping off the pitch with the match ball under his arm after scoring a hat-trick against Newcastle United under-23s in the last Pizza Trophy game. Comes on as a sub and really does get stuck in early doors and reacts well. Jason Law's shot, he's squirms under the keeper. I've looked at the footage back. I think he was onside when the initial shot was made, which was what really counts. Hard done by, but like Andy says, we might not have got that fantastic goal and celebration from Rhys Oates, who basically just fell to the ground out of sheer tiredness. And it just said everything about Mansfield Town. It epitomised the performance yesterday, that goal and celebration.
I've had a look at the goal from what view that I'd got, on social media. I've watched it back on YouTube and everything else. Obviously, I couldn't see a deal from where we were on the actual day. But I just assumed that when the keeper had fumbled it and he tapped it in, it would count. That was my opinion of it, but obviously not.
Having sort of thought about it back, I wonder whether the linesman's view is that maybe he kicked it out of his hands because it sort of parries it and squirms under it. And I could understand maybe that perspective if you're looking at it in that line. But
Yeah.
do you know what? Regardless of that, Nath, I think one thing's for certain yesterday, you felt that if we could get one goal, even at 2-0 down, that the roof would come off and that it'd swing our way.
Yeah, I mean, the whether it's kicked out of his hands or not, the only way of finding out is by looking at what the referee does with his flag and trying to figure out the signs. But there's different signals, isn't there? But regardless of that, like the comment said, if we did score that, who knows what would have happened afterwards? Would that goal from Reece Oates, would it have happened? Would that have been the winner for 3-2? It's hard to say, but that's football, isn't it? It's what happens. It's a bit annoying that if it's a Premier League ground, they have VAR and all the rest don't. It should be one, either for them all or not for them all. But that's a different debate. But regardless, the way we equipped ourselves again after, if we talk about any disappointments from yesterday, obviously it is the fact that we went 2-0 down. But again, as we did against Hartlepool, and it was a similar situation in the sense that if you give teams opportunities, there were quality. Well, certainly the first goal was obviously quality finished. Obviously, championship level, you expect them to take it. But we did it to come back against Hartlepool, but to do it against relatively strong Middlesbrough side, obviously championship, also full of confidence. That's a different kettle of fish, and I think that just says so much for the mentality in that group, which has been building and building for for the last 11, 12 games, hasn't it? Since we've been able to turn things around.
Keep your comments coming in. Let's delve into some more of them. I say that as I click away from them and it scrolls all the way back up to the top. I had it at exactly the right point where I wanted it. And then I clicked away from it and it went away. Jim says, I agree with Alan. Borough showed the advantage of plenty of pace, and a pacey winger or some kind of forward would add to us. Stags Chat adds, absolutely proud. I have every confidence that we can get something at the end of the season. Keep the fight like that and the passion for the badge. I can't see a problem on playoffs or even more. Season of a roller coaster. Come on, you Stags. Hashtag this is why I support Mansfield. Absolutely. Chris says, had everything you want in a cup tie. Passionate fans from both sets, to be fair. Their first goal was unstoppable. Oates equalisers made from grit. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the goals from a Middlesbrough perspective, Al, because we can be slightly disappointed that we went 2 goals down, but the first goal was championship class. It was just that, extra couple of hours in the gym, that championship level, reads the ball well. McLaughlin misses his header. He gets a little bit of space, just spins his man well and gets an unstoppable shot into the top corner. Second goal, we should have perhaps done a little bit better from in terms of defending. And it was probably like that for the rest of the game. But like I overheard Chris Wilder in his post-match interview say something along the lines of, from around 20 minutes onwards, it was like watching an all-championship tie. And I think that's probably the highest praise you could take away from that.
Yeah, because I think he is one that you'd likely to listen to, Chris Wilder, who's been a good manager for a number of years. And like you say, that first goal, it was just class, top class. There was only one place that was going, in the top corner, because we could see it from behind, hours straight behind it. And there was only one place it was going, where the Bishop, I don't think anybody had stopped that one. But the second goal, like Nigel said on interview, it was poor. It could have been dealt with before then. But why do we keep going 2 goals down and then having to fight, like we do?
Oh, it's just the Mansfield Town way at the moment. It's just one of those things, isn't it, where we have to sort of concede to get started. It's almost like we want to give a team an advantage and make it a challenge for yourself, isn't it? It's quite a funny one. You mentioned a name there, Alan, in Nathan Bishop. And Nathan, I want to come to you because yesterday, he won't get talked about as much because of the fact we turned the game around, we took it to extra time. There were other key moments in the game, but at 1 and 2-0 down, especially 1-0 down, Bishop made 2 incredible saves to keep us in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. When Middlesbrough had their spell, which, like I say, most was for the sort of first 25, 30 minutes of the game, he was called upon a couple of times and made some, really, really smart and important save for us to keep us in it, because whilst it was at 1 or 2-0, you're always in it with a chance. And I think Clough said it in his interview after the game. Once it goes to 3-0, it probably is all over. It's very difficult to get back from there. even against somebody in our division, never mind a side 2 divisions above us. So by making those key saves, kept us in it, left us with a bit of hope, and even though it was going to be tough, it was all to play for, wasn't it? So again, he's got to get a lot of credit for that. He got a little bit of stick after the Hartlepool game, and I don't think it was helped by Clough's comments, which I think have been misinterpreted a little bit. Because he was saying about his sort of saving ratio, because a lot of, but sort of shots to save ratio, wasn't it? Because but unfortunately, I don't think Clough meant this as a criticism to Bishop. I think he was just saying it more like he's been unlucky more so than bad goalkeeping. But a lot of shots he's faced, because we've not been conceding many shots, have unfortunately found the back of the net. And I think some people have interpreted that as a negative, and I won't say got on Bishop's back, but started to be a bit more negative towards him. But I think that's looking at it in the wrong way, because if you actually look at the saves he does make, a lot of them are key, and like I said, he did that for us on Saturday.
Yeah, the second one in particular, Alan, was point blank range. Top corner it was going, that stretched a hand, he was going the wrong way as well, Bishop. It was a really good save, and we've got a really, really good goalkeeper there. And we mentioned George Shelvey earlier, of course, getting recalled by Nottingham Forest, and it's due to the performances of Nathan Bishop why Forest have decided to recall Shelvey, because he was sent here to compete as number one, and Bishop has not really done anything at all wrong.
Now, to be fair to Nathan Bishop, I don't think George Shelvey, would have got to look in unless injury or loss of form, and you couldn't see that happening. But that second save yesterday, like you said, that one where he palmed it just round the top, unbelievable. Point blank save, and everybody, there's quite a few people, elderly people, stood up where are you in the box, and even they stood up to clap.
Yeah, and you were shouting, "Sit down, I can't see."
It was that good
with your stick, but there you go. In a way, though, actually, I know a few people on social media in the last sort of hour or so have been moaning a little bit and a bit out of disappointment, Nath, because Manchester United or Aston Villa would have awaited us in round 4. But actually, balance of probability, if Manchester United would have got through, we'd have lost our key player in Nathan Bishop, because he probably wouldn't have been allowed to play anyway.
We were saying that, weren't we, when it was a draw for the third round, saying let's probably not get Man United, because he probably won't be able to play, and therefore we're a bit buggered in that sense. But I mean, it's disappointing. I think it happens all the time, doesn't it? When you go out of the cup, you always look at who you might have got next and things like that. I mean, the way Man United are playing at the minute, it's probably going to be Aston Villa anyway. So I've done Villa Park, so I'm not fussed. But it would have been a good game to get to. But like you said in the intro, it's back to the bread and butter now. And we've had a good cup run, we've enjoyed it. I don't think anyone can say they haven't enjoyed those 3 games we've had in this cup so far. So I know it's got a bit of extra funds in the pocket, and most importantly, a crowd of just over 7,000 there on Saturday. Hopefully, that the few more that have come in the home terraces have left very happy and thinking, that was entertaining. I'm going to come back on Tuesday night against Swindon. I'm going to come back against Walsall, and I'll get a few more on board for the rest of the season. So that's the important bit, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the key, and we'll touch upon that a little bit more later on in terms of what we take away from the game and how we go forward. You cannot accuse Mansfield Town of playing boring football and putting on boring spectacles at the minute, because there is drama everywhere. Keep your comments coming in. Alex has said, I don't think it was offside at Johnson's goal, but I think we play badly. I think if we keep it up, they will go up in terms of the turnaround and things like that. I think talked about the 2 goals we conceded there. Paul says that those players gave their all yesterday. Reece Oates, brilliant goal yesterday. Ollie Clark looked a bit off it, but they did us all proud. Roll on Tuesday night. I spoke to Nigel Clough, Alan, after the game, which we'll hear in full in a minute. About obviously taking Ollie Clark and Stephen McLaughlin off. McLaughlin was injured, and he basically said about Ollie Clark, and this is something we've got to remember for all the players that are coming back at the minute. Ollie Clark's just come back from a longish term injury, and he's also had COVID, and it just affects everybody differently. So he wanted to be mindful of that with the Tuesday night game coming up as well, because at that point in the game where we took him off as well, 60 odd minutes, we were still 2-0 down. And at that point, you have to start thinking, do I gamble and try and get us to extra time and try and get us back into the game? Or do I just let it play out and keep one big eye on Tuesday night. And I think Nigel Clough did that to the best of his ability yesterday.
I thought he played it perfectly, to be honest. Obviously, McLaughlin did have an injury. His calf, wasn't it? Feeling his calf. He said he'd felt it at the end of the first half. Tried it second half. It's still rough, so he left off. And it was a good idea to bring Clark off, although he did start fairly slowly. But I think he rose into the game and he made some really good block tackles, especially on the left-hand side.
In particular, they countered from one of our corners and he slid in, didn't he, in the mud right in front of the dugouts. That was a fantastic challenge. Also, just to say on the back of that as well, when McLaughlin went off, stand up and take a bow, Jordan Bowery. Emergency left back extraordinaire, can play anywhere. Keep your comments coming in. Clive says, playing the way we did on Saturday, the Stags should fear no other League Two team. Of course, we won't win every game, but I expect us to finish in the playoffs if we continue like that. Mark says, if we play like that Tuesday night, we'll win 4-0. Don't write off Swindon, of course. They even though they lost to Man City the other week, they'll be itching to bite back as well. Playoff contending side. Mark says, stunning performance in that second half. The best I've seen us play in a long, long time. We really took the game to them and they couldn't deal with it, the work rate and skill we showed. Quick mention to Chris Wilder in his post-match interview. He told it how it was, full of praise for us and knew we deserved that. Class bloke. Yeah, absolutely. I'd expect nothing less from that as well. Jamie says, it's a shame we went 2-0 down. It gave us a massive ladder to climb, but we did very, very well afterwards. Chris adds, what a game. The Stags played fantastically throughout most of the game, can hold their heads high, deserve the ovation. Such a cruel twist at the end. Also put the contract in front of JJ and let him write whatever he wants on it. We'll hear more about that from Nigel Clough in a second, but basically, we all thought they was out of contract, didn't we, at the start of Jan, so we were worried whether he would play. It transpires that actually it's the middle of Jan. He's got about 2 weeks left on it as Nigel Clough goes into, but he's hoping that either way O'Toole will make his mind up, hopefully before Tuesday's game. I did ask about whether he would play him or not, and he said it would be unfair on him to play and then risk an injury for him joining another team. But on the flip side of that, he's a player that gives his absolute everything. And to be fair, Alan, yesterday he could well have turned around and said, all right, there's no contract on the table for me at the minute. I'm not going to play. I don't want to play. I don't want to risk injury. But yesterday he gave his absolute all and looked as committed as anybody else. In fact, if not the most committed player on the pitch for Mansfield Town. And my favourite moment of the game yesterday, not the goals, not the comeback, not anything. At 2-2, they're trying to counter. He's on a yellow card, O'Toole, at this point. Their big number 9 gets the ball. They go for an aerial challenge. O'Toole puts it in on him. He rolls around on the floor like a Premier League diving Tom Daly wannabe. O'Toole picks him up with one hand and just plonks him back on his feet. Class. Love it.
Yeah. Quality player, mate. Quality player. I just hope he does sign, but I'm pleased that Nigel wants to get it done quickly. Either whether he's giving the ultimatum for Tuesday, said make your mind up, before Tuesday, or we'll sort something else out. Or whether, John Joe's told him that. I'm not sure which, but let's just hope he stays. But if he doesn't, it's got to be onwards and upwards.
Yeah, we'll hear from Clough on that and the game in just a second. Jamie says, what was your opinion on Nigel Clough when you asked him about John Joe O'Toole? I think he's as frustrated as anyone at the minute. I think he understands, Clough this is. I think he understands the situation which O'Toole is in, but I think he's wanting to try and get the deal done so we can sort of focus on the rest of the season. He says he's got confidence in him, giving his all, regardless of whether he's here for 2 weeks or for 2 years. And there's no hesitations in that respect about playing him. But I think there's a slight undertone of frustration that it is taking so long. But I think after yesterday, Nath, I think he'll want to get him signed and sealed and just get focused. Because the last thing you want now is to try and pick your team up after an FA Cup exit and then lose what has been your key player in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's not only are we losing a body, a very capable body in the team for what he brings ability wise, but he does strike as one of those that is probably a really good influence in the dressing room at the moment. I think the players would realise that if he does move on, I think they probably understand. As we've said before, we understand why he might, but it's still a big big pair of boots to fill in that dressing room. So which is, I'm pleased in the sense that we're giving it till Tuesday to get it sorted, because that does allow time to get something else sorted if he doesn't sign. And that's what was my concern, was how long do we leave it? So at least we are being proactive and looking at getting it sorted rather than letting it go to the wire. But I think whatever fee we've received for mayonnaise, whatever money we've got.
Sorry, my mug was in the way of the bell. Can you say his name again, please?
Mayonnaise.
There you go.
And I think there's been rumours about making a bid for this Oldham defender and stuff like that. Obviously, we'd have to pay a transfer fee. Bugger that. Forget the transfer fee for other players. Put that money towards a better contract for John Joe O'Toole for the next 18 months, and just get him signed. I think we will miss him. It's not the be all and end all, but I think we'll miss him. So let's get it over. Get it signed.
Clive says, much as everyone wants JJ to sign, the club must take into account the morale of other players if they smash the pay structure for him. And Thomas says, thought JJ O'Toole was immense again yesterday. Need to sign him up ASAP. What are our chances of him staying? Surely if he was leaving, he shouldn't start Tuesday. I think, the team selection might say a lot on Tuesday night about that. In terms of our chances at the minute, I would probably say it's a fence sitter, isn't it? I think it's 50-50. If I had to be a little bit more specific, I think I would probably say 70-30 in favour of him leaving. And I think that's down to the fact that it's taking so long and it's not been done. But, bigger things have happened and better things have happened. We'll see what the next couple of days bring. Right, let's bring a close to our talk about yesterday's epic game. Before we talk, we hear from Nigel Clough, which we'll do in a couple of minutes. There's one thing which I want to give credit to, which we perhaps haven't so far. There are two talking points which I want to finish on before we hear from Clough, actually. The first, Nathan, is had we not conceded that own goal in the 94th minute, we would have beaten them in extra time, yes?
No.
No?
I honestly, it's a funny one, because I was obviously gutted when the goal went in, but literally 5 minutes, a few minutes before, I said to my brother, who's still not got his mug, by the way, and he's very upset about it. But I said to my brother that, I want this to be finished now, and I said one way or another, I want it to be finished. One, because going into extra time, we've got Swindon on Tuesday, and we're already sort of with players just coming back from COVID and stuff, probably running empty. We're very tired. I don't want that for Tuesday. But two, I just felt that they just brought on a couple more of their first teamers, so they were going to be stronger. I just thought we're going to be tighter than them. I didn't fancy it, in the sense that although we'd played so well, I just thought fitness might tell. So for me, for those two reasons, I wanted it to be finished in the 90 just in case. And if it went to penalties, I was leaving anyway, because
Oh yeah, we don't win on penalties,
and I couldn't take it. So
no, so we don't win penalties.
The silver lining was that it finished in 90. For me, in a sense.
And finally, the final talking point, Alan, was what a ball, Jason Law.
Oh, for Resoach, yeah. It was quality. It reminded me of a Stephen Quinn ball. It's that type of player, isn't it? Left-sided, gets stuck in. It seems to be when he started, which was fair play to him, he got nudged off the ball a little bit. But then he's shown his grit and determination, got stuck into the game, and that ball was absolute quality.
Yeah, it certainly was. Right, let's hear from Stags boss Nigel Clough. Let's get his post-match reaction to yesterday's game. Keep your comments in. We want your views on how you think yesterday's game will affect us for the remainder of the season. Of course, we go again on Tuesday night at home to Swindon, then at home to Warsaw on Saturday. Fixtures coming thick and fast, so let us know your thoughts on that. First, though, I caught up with Nigel Clough after the game as he spoke to me for Mansfield 103.2.
Nigel, it's an FA Cup exit, but your boys gave it absolutely everything out there this afternoon, didn't they?
That's what we wanted to do. I thought the first 30 minutes we weren't anywhere near, probably a bit rusty from the 2-week layoff we've had, but I thought from 25-30 minutes, once we got into our stride for the next hour or so, I think it was brilliant stuff. Deserved to get our 2 goals back. and there's very good argument, I think, to say we could have won the game today.
Yeah, you just felt, didn't you, even at 2-0 down after about half an hour, that one goal, one opportunity would just lift these fans.
Just get one back. We saw it against Hartlepool and we saw it again today. Get one back, and then the crowd, and all of a sudden we're flying forward. But it was chance after chance in the second half, situation after situation. We've missed some very, very good chances today.
I know you've not had much of a chance to sort of speak to them, but I'm sure you did as they walked off the pitch. How are the boys feeling after that? Because they gave it everything to get back in the game and then to lose the way they did.
Yeah, it's little things, and we said in order to take it on and make progress and move to the next level, you've got to do the correct things all the way throughout a game. We certainly did that in the first 25-30 minutes, which was why we were 2-0 down, and then we're chasing our tail. And then the effort to get back into it is exceptional again, and some of the play, it's not just effort. I thought some of our play against a good championship side, some very experienced players out there today.
I've just overheard Chris Wilder, the Middlesbrough manager there, saying at times it was like watching a championship fixture this afternoon. That must give you incredible heart.
Yeah, we've got to do it though, week in, week out. 24 league games to go. Cup's been brilliant. We've had 3 great games. Put it to the back of your mind now, and we concentrate on Swindon and then Warsaw. That's all. 24 games. That's all that matters now.
Stephen McLaughlin and Ollie Clark both went off midway through the second half. Was it an injury thing, or were you looking with one eye on towards Tuesday with that?
Stephen McLaughlin was injury, calf. He felt it in the first half and towards half time, and then we just thought George Lapsley a swap for Ollie Clark. He's been out with an injury for quite some time and also had COVID, so I think an hour was about the maximum for him today.
Yeah, and of course, what a good cup run does for you. It does sort of give you that result and that sort of galvanising effect in the league. You're hoping that despite the result today, the performance will do that, especially with the game coming so quick on Tuesday night here.
Well, that's it, I'm sure. We're pleased he didn't go to extra time. I'd rather go to extra time than get knocked out, but I thought 120 minutes on the heavy conditions today wouldn't have been ideal for Tuesday night, but we've got to lift ourselves and say we have to now put it to the back of your mind. And the lads there straight away, we said, yeah, it's been brilliant. We've had 3 great cup games, right? All that matters now is Swindon on Tuesday. Don't let our standards drop.
Your team talk on Tuesday will be quite simple. It'll be one word, won't it? React.
Repeat. Just play like we have done. I think for the last, and even some of the games we didn't win in the very poor run we had. You think of the Port Vale game here, we played some brilliant stuff, and then the 10 out of 11 that we've won and could have made it 11 out of 12 today. I think some of the standard of some of the football has been excellent, especially here. And that's where we're going to pick up the majority of our points, on our own patch and in front of our own supporters, and to see them stay again at the end, I think to show their appreciation of what they've seen today, and it just shows everybody wants to win and everything, but they also want to see you play in a certain way and give everything that the lads did today.
One thing you didn't have on Boxing Day, which you did today, was numbers back on the bench, and one of which was Danny Johnson, who had the ball in the back of the net. Firstly, what did you make of that goal? Was he on or was he off?
It seemed so tight. We had it looked at the time. It's almost impossible to tell, it's so tight. Usually sometimes they'll give the benefit to the striker in those situations, but a little rub of the green that sometimes you need, but it was good to have him back available. Yeah,
that's the key thing, isn't it? Getting him back in the body to just sort of alleviate that pressure a little bit on Rhys Oates.
Yeah, you saw how he caused problems all throughout the game today. With 24 league games to go, I'm not sure he'll play every minute of every game, so but also you see the versatility of Jordan Bowery today. He's played up front for an hour and then he's gone to left back and equipped himself very well.
Yeah, last bit of few bits of housekeeping. No Farron Rawson today. Is he likely to be back in for Tuesday, or has he got to isolate?
Still isolating, not sure on the days and everything, and we've got to get some a clear test before he comes back in.
And of course John Joe O'Toole as well played today. What's the latest on his contract situation? Will it be done before Tuesday?
We're still talking. I think it's going to, it's a difficult situation for him because I think he's got another couple of weeks with us, but if he's not going to stay, then it's a difficult position for him to keep playing and risking injury and everything when he only has 2 weeks left. So I think one way or another it will get sorted in the next few days.
And if on the flip side of that, that's the same for you as well, because you don't want to necessarily play a player that you know is going to leave. You want to get that consistency in there.
Ideally, but I think with a lad like John Joe, you put him out there because his effort isn't going to drop and his commitment isn't going to change whether he's got 2 weeks or 2 years left.
Yeah.
And you saw that today. He couldn't have tried any harder today.
And finally from me, we saw a huge number of Stags fans in there. As you mentioned earlier, stayed at the end to give you an ovation. Only league action to focus on now. What's your message to them to get behind you for the rest of the season, to give it that push towards getting some success at the end of it?
That's it. keep getting behind us. And when you see us play as we did today, even without the right result, keep giving the players that message. That's what we want to see. That's how we want to see you play. Keep giving it everything. I think we're attacking as much as any team in the country at the moment. I don't think we can try and go forward anymore or create many more situations. We just want that little bit of finishing, that next step, just to keep us going up the league.
That's Stags boss Nigel Clough speaking to me for Mansfield 103.2 after yesterday's FA Cup exit at home to Championship Middlesbrough. You can also see more from Nigel Clough on I Follow Stags as well. Fixtures coming up thick and fast as well, including, after such a long time, being back on the road. 2 home games followed by 2 away games. And if you want to travel to them, you can do so with the Stags Supporters Association. Forest Green Rovers on Tuesday, the 18th of January. Departure time, 3 p.m. from One Call Stadium. And then a trip up to Barrow on Saturday, the 22nd. Departure from the One Call Stadium is 8 a.m. Amber members are charged at £15, £20 for blue members and £25 for non-members. For further information and to book your seat, make sure you call 07967 689 597. That's 07967 689 597 to make sure you get yourself a seat on the bus. And of course, if you can't get to either of those games, make sure you tune into Mansfield 103.2 for full match commentary on FM only. Let's now switch our attention to league action then. And of course, as we say, Alan, it's Swindon on Tuesday at home at One Call Stadium. They are going to be a difficult opponent to break down. Not in the greatest of form at the moment, but they'll be itching to put that right and to keep their place in the playoffs because Mansfield are hunting them down.
I just hope they play like they did against Manchester City with the playing out scenario, similar to what Oldham did, because you know what happened there. I just hope they keep that up, especially when Reece Oates fires against them. I just hope they play like they did, and I think there'll be no problem.
Yeah, and if you throw Danny Johnson into the mix there as well, Nate, he's looking to get back in there. If a team wants to try and play out against those two pressing from the front, God help them.
And I think they will. They seem to be very sort of, I don't think arrogance is the right word, but very sort of committed to playing that system, that way, even against the likes of Manchester City. So I think they'd do it against the likes of Mansfield Town, but I guess time will tell. But I think after the cup match, even though we've lost and it was a late defeat, I think after reflection, and hopefully they've had the opportunity to hear all the positive comments from ourselves and Middlesbrough supporters and the opposition manager. Hopefully that will just give them an even bigger confidence boost of, they should have already been pretty high in confidence anyway. But I think after that performance, we should go into Tuesday in a really good mind frame. So let's not be overconfident and expect to go out there and batter them. But because we all know what happened at their ground, we battered them, but came out 1-0 defeat. So we had so many shots there, just couldn't finish. But I think we're a different side now, and hopefully with the confidence behind us and being at home, we'll be able to continue our great league form.
One thing, Alan, which sort of strikes me is when you sort of lose in the way that we did on Saturday, it can sometimes take a little bit of something to get your mindset right and to pick yourselves up again, especially considering the run we've been on of late. But it's still 10 wins out of the last 12 games in all competitions. And genuinely, with this Stag side, like Nigel Clough said in his post-match comments there, his team talk will be quite simple. React and repeat, because I think this side have got the mentality about them to just go, all right, what he's done is done. Let's crack on and let's get 3 points tonight.
I think they've all. You seem to see the togetherness, Craig. This year. Once they went past that 14 game where they couldn't win or they were drawing the matches and whatever, and then we started on that run. You can see the togetherness coming and the willingness, and with the squad at the side, like Nigel said, everybody's going to have its part to play. And I just think there's only one way to go, and that's up, because they look as if they're earning the right to be up where they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your comments coming in. Richard says, my biggest concern is how short we are defensively. As well as Hawkins has been playing in defence. He definitely struggles when players run at him, as the first and third goal showed. But what the game showed, the game showed what we're missing with Hawkins not playing up front. If we can sort out the defence without Hawkins needing to play there, he can be up front on the end of some great crosses we've been putting in, like exactly the equaliser from Stephen Quinn. He stayed up there, didn't he, and got on the end of Stephen Quinn's cross, which was excellent to see. And we do miss that threat, and I think that'll be a real good asset for us. But I think Richard's got a big point there, Nate, because we might be losing O'Toole. We might not have Will Forrester after this month because his loan is up, and he's injured, of course, at the minute, and we don't know whether we're going to be recalling it. Farron Rawson's out at the minute. We're not sure how long for, obviously, with the COVID situation. Yes, we've got Corey O'Keefe back in the building, like we mentioned the other week, but it's highly unlikely that he's going to play. Kel Gordon now injured still as well. So I think that's certainly an area which Nigel Clough needs to look at addressing, even if we do manage to keep Mr. O'Toole.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Richard said there. It's what on whatever the last show was it the preview for this? I'm not sure, but
yeah.
It's exactly sort of what when we were discussing how many targets we think we need in. That's why I said preferably two players at the back, and definitely if John Joe does go, because like we said, although Hawkins is doing a really good job there, I still would love to see him back up top. If we can get two players back there, and preferably one that can cover on the right hand side as well, in case anything does happen to Hewitt, then I think that's what we need. So I'm definitely looking at two players in defence at the moment, even possibly with John Joe staying.
How important, Alan, is it that we respond with a positive result on Tuesday night?
Very
in the grand arching scheme of things.
Very important, because I think the players know what's at stake, Craig. I mean, is it with 3 points off the playoffs with the game in hand, or where last time I looked at the league? And I mean, as soon as you get up there, there's always one team, they do it every year, that just creeps in nice, slowly, keeps the momentum going. And why can't it be us?
3 points off with 2 games in hand. We've got 2 games in hand so Newport in 7th on 35 points have played 24. We've played 22. And Sutton in 4th have played 23. Swindon also have played 22, same as us. And then Port Vale in there have played 21. So they've got a game in hand on us. But it's very, very tight up there. And I think, like Alan said, Nath, it's imperative, really, that we get at least a point on Tuesday night, if not all 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously been missed a few fixtures of the last few weeks, but we're still looking in a very, very good position in the league table. So in that aspect, it's kind of sort of in our own hands a little bit. So it's again even more of an incentive to go out there on on Tuesday night against Swindon. The fact that sort of they're in reaching distance for us as well. What more of an incentive can you have? So it's been a good few weeks for us, even when we haven't even been playing. So yeah, that's point minimum. But if we certainly with us being at home, 3 points would just it would be like setting off another rocket, wouldn't it, for the next month or so to get us going again.
Time now for podcast predictions before we let you two go. Of course, we're at home to Swindon on Tuesday night. Alan, I'm going to let you go first. What's your predictions for Tuesday night result? And if you have them, goal scorers.
Mansfield Town 2, Swindon Town 0. The first scorer, Lapsley, and the second scorer, Hawkins.
Nathan.
I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win, and I'm gonna go for Reese Oates, and I'm gonna go for. Go on then. I'll go for George Maris.
Oh, you were going to stay Stephen Quinn for a minute.
I was very tempted. But
I am going to go
for Maris.
I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 win. I think it's going to be one of the tightest games we've played. I think we'll play some good football, we'll have chances, but it'll be one of those games where, we're bound to have. We've had so many good games in the last sort of, run of fixtures. it's bound to be one of those games where it's going to be tight and on a knife edge. I'm going to say we're going to win 1-0, and Danny Johnson's going to pop up and score. I'm going to back him to get in the goals.
Penalty.
Yes, maybe. If you want to play along with podcast predictions, you can do so. It's our game which runs all throughout the season. We'll be playing it every game now because it only focuses on league games. And you can get involved via the link in the description. All you've got to do is just pop in the results. So Mansfield 2, Swindon 0, for example, and then any goal scorers. All the rules and stuff are all on there for you to get involved with. So make sure you do get involved with them. Final few comments. As well, Clive's just dropped his in the comments as well, so let me write this down before I forget and get told off by Clive for not giving the right points. He says 3-1 win with Oates hat-trick, so he's going for a Reece Oates hat-trick. There you go. So if you want to play along, as I say, make sure you get involved. The link is in the description. It needs to be in. What time did we say, Nathan? Was it something like 1 hour and 1 hour 1 minute before kickoff?
1 hour and 1 minute before kickoff.
1 hour 1 minute before kickoff. So make sure you get involved with that and see how you get on. Gents, thanks very much for joining us. Last comment from both of you, and it's just a simple yes or no answer. Can Mansfield Town utilise some sort of confidence, some sort of momentum from yesterday's game to go on and make this one a successful season? We saw in 2013 when the Stags were edged out against Liverpool what that game and what that result did for them. Can they make history repeat itself? Nathan Edge.
No. I'm only joking, of course we can.
Alan Wilson.
Yes.
There we go. Thanks very much, gents, for joining us. We will see you again very, very soon indeed. We'll see you in the week as we react on that game to Swindon. Make sure you join us for that one. For now, though, all that's left to do is give you one final flashback to yesterday. Here is the epic tale of Mansfield Town against Middlesbrough, as told by me on Mansfield 103.2. I'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome to One Call Stadium, where Mansfield Town are hoping to progress in the FA Cup and get past Championship outfit Middlesbrough. Of course, Middlesbrough, they're on an excellent run themselves under Chris Wilder since he took over from Neil Warnock, unbeaten in their last 6 games with 3 back-to-back wins. But Mansfield Town, 10 wins from their last 11 games. The stage is set to make it an epic atmosphere this afternoon. Mansfield have made 2 changes from their last game at home here on Boxing Day, where they came from 2 goals down to beat Hartlepool by 3 goals to 2. Ollie Clark and Stephen Quinn come in. Farron Rawson and Jason Law go out. The Stags line up as follows. Nathan Bishop in goal, a back 4, right to left of Elliot Hewitt, John Joe O'Toole, Ollie Hawkins and Stephen McLaughlin. A midfield 5, we think, of Jordan Bowery, George Maris, Ollie Clark, Ryan Stirk and Stephen Quinn. Reece Oates leads the line up top. On the bench, Richard Narty, Harry Charlesley, Danny Johnson, Ryan Burke, Keaton Ward, Jason Law, George Lapsley and the 2 goalkeepers, Marek Steck and Louis Turner. The atmosphere starting to get electric. Mansfield Town have knocked out 2 League One sides on their way to round 3. Can a Championship team be the next team to fall? There is barely a spare seat in the house. Middlesbrough will get us underway with the captain Johnny Howson in that centre circle. The Stags lining up as predicted to that massive roar of the Stags fans here at One Call Stadium. Mansfield have the ball at the moment as Ollie Clark heads the ball away over the halfway line, clatters the second ball out of play, and it will go out of play for a Middlesbrough throw. Stags with Bowery looking to try and find Reece Oates in behind. Middlesbrough do well to get the ball clear up over the halfway line. McLaughlin's missed his header, and it's Ikpazu now who can transfer the ball forward to the edge of the box. He has a shot, and it's into the back of the net. Ikpazu has opened the scoring for Middlesbrough after 3 minutes here in the FA Cup 3rd round. Middlesbrough throw. Coburn on this right hand side. He's beaten Stirk, he's beaten McLaughlin, low balling towards the middle, he's not dealt with, and he's turned in! Middlesbrough have a second! Mansfield carved open down that far side, and they have themselves a second goal! Mansfield have their first corner of the game. 29 minutes played, the roar of yellows goes up. Come on you Stags, flashes on the scoreboard, and George Maris goes across to take the corner. Right forward in swinger in front of those Middlesbrough fans. Maris's corner towards the near post, headed away. It might fall for Stirk on the edge of the box. Stirk back wide for Maris. Can he try and shoot here, George Maris? Edge of the box, here is Maris. He does shoot, and it's held well by the goalkeeper of Joe Lumley. Mansfield's best shot and best opportunity of the game. Mansfield free kick. 40 yards or so from goal, central, taken short by Clark to Maris. Clark has it again. Mansfield push forward. Wide it goes for Quinn. First time delivery in towards the box, towards the back stick where Bowery's there. Keith punches it away. Here's O'Toole to the right of the box. Does well to twist and turn. Crossing towards the middle. And Rhys Oates on the stretch couldn't quite get there. And Mansfield Town have another opportunity to go amiss. They should be back in this game by now. Great opportunity. Great work. Unlucky. Remains 2-0. Parsley looking to try and get on the end of a long punt forward from Joe Lumley. Goes out of play for a Stags goal kick, which Nathan Bishop will take. The referee says it's just about time to take it. Goes short to Hewitt and then does signal the end of this first period here in the FA Cup third round. At half-time, it's Mansfield Town 0, Middlesbrough 2. Middlesbrough on top early doors from Uche Ikpazu and then Caelan Boyd-Muntz on 13 minutes. But it has to be said, despite Middlesbrough's 2-goal advantage, as the half went on, the Stags grew. Second half about to get underway here at One Call Stadium. The referee blows the whistle and it's Stags who kick us off. They go from left to right, Middlesbrough right to left, and Mansfield looking to be on the front foot already. Bowery on the left-hand side, looking to find Stephen McLaughlin and finds Stirk. Now Bowery again. Quinn looking to make a run, tries to chip it in for Maris. Away it goes though. Clark wins it back for the Stags. Now Oates, good little touch out of his feet, going down the right hand side. He's being manhandled here all the way by the number 14. Oates does just enough to get Mansfield corner. Stephen Quinn will take it in front of the Stags fans after good work from Rhys Oates. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Quinn, looking for the trigger runners now. Quinn steps up, delivers the ball in towards the mixer, headed up and over the bar. George Maris, the man who got a head to it, couldn't get it on target. Quinn is marked by 2 but still has the ball at feet. Gets it to Oates, pokes it back to Maris. Wide it goes again for Quinn. McLaughlin on the overlap, looking to try and get Ollie Clark into the box and does. Here's Clark to the left of the box. Ball across the face to goal. Rhys Oates off the line and it's cleared away by Middlesbrough, who were hanging on there for dear life as Mansfield came forward in their numbers. That was the chance. As Hewitt and Quinn clatter together. Quinn tries to find Bowery. Read well though by Sol Bamba. Mansfield have it back though through Quinn. Now Maris. Wide it goes from McLaughlin. McLaughlin to the left of the box, in towards the middle. Rhys Oates is up, and Rhys Oates heads it wide. Maris balling towards Bowery, poked away by Ikpazu, but Mansfield have everybody forward. Hewitt gets it in the centre circle. Low pass wide, it goes to Quinn. Sets himself, delivers in towards the middle, up towards Hawkins, and he scores! Ollie Hawkins on 66 gets Mansfield back in the game. Any thought of a formation sort of gone out of the window here for the Stags. Just trying to get as many bodies forward as they can. Oates, now Law does well in the tackle, does Jason Law. Now Oates will try and get through. Law blocks it, and Rhys Oates has the ball to the right of the box. Square it for Johnson, and it goes towards Johnson, and he's turned behind for a corner, and it nearly ended up in the back of the net. That is incredible move by Mansfield Town, and Middlesbrough there will count their lucky stars that they didn't see the ball turn in by their own player. Rhys Oates here to the right of the box. Rhys Oates goes down. Oh, yes! Yes! Go, 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 go! Offside flag is up. The offside flag is up. Mansfield Town had the ball in the back of the net through Danny Johnson, and the linesman on this near side has robbed Mansfield of a dramatic late equaliser by raising the offside flag. Jason Law from 35 yards thundered a shot underneath the body of Joe Lumley, who got something on it, and following it in was Danny Johnson. Johnson poked the ball into the back of the net, and the linesman straight away had the flag up for offside. Come on you Stags is the roar from the Stags fans. Maris to Lapsley inside the Stags half, shouts of man on, gets it back for Maris to Hawkins. He's lost possession and Middlesbrough come away again, but again it's Hewitt who steps in. Now finds Law, low pass to Rhys Oates, one-on-one with the keeper. Rhys Oates takes it round in. Rhys Oates, yes! Rhys Oates has scored for Mansfield, and Mansfield Town are back in the game. What a ball from Jason Law. Rhys Oates around the keeper, back of the net, 2-2. Game on! This is incredible from Mansfield, and you've got to credit the ball there in midfield from Jason Law, and Reece Oakes the runner as well. He's looked absolutely knackered, but he has not given up. Knocked it around the keeper, the goal at his mercy, and he showed no mercy. 2-2. Ollie Hawkins has been beaten here for pace, and Middlesbrough to the right of the low box, low ball across the middle, and it's turned into the back of the net, I think by John Joe O'Toole, who scores an own goal. And Mansfield Town, in the 94th minute, have perhaps just crashed out of the Emirates FA Cup. Mansfield Town 2, Middlesbrough 3 is the full-time score from One Call Stadium. But the applause you can hear from the Stag supporters around us is all about Mansfield Town's endeavour. 2 goals down at the break, and then the comeback started. First, it was Ollie Hawkins who headed in on 66 minutes, and then Reece Oakes got the goal with 5 minutes to go to take the game further and further towards the end. 2-2 it was, and then in the 94th minute, a low ball from the right-hand side after Ollie Hawkins was beaten for pace, saw John Joe O'Toole turn the ball in towards the back of the net. That's the story of the goals, but the real story is this. 3 words: Mansfield Town, heroic. Mansfield Town have given it their everything despite pulling it back to 2-2. In the end, they are out of the FA Cup, and at full time it finishes a proud but dejected Mansfield 2, Middlesbrough, lucky Middlesbrough 3. What a game it's been. Now, I was fully expecting Nathan Edge to drop off the chat at that point, because I know he's got to bath his son in about 3 minutes, but I could see him in the little side panel of my view, watching and laughing along to that. Are you all right?
I couldn't leave, and I'm glad I stayed now, because your reaction for Danny Johnson's goal, that was super.
Well,
there was no commentary there.
No, I'll let everybody in behind the curtain. Obviously, we only did updates. We only do updates on home games. So at that point, I've got Jason, who presents the show, in my ear saying, we're coming to you in literally 10 seconds. And I'm trying to record it for the highlights. So I'm sort of listening to him in one ear whilst watching the action, and he's literally saying his cue. He's literally saying, let's go over to the One Call Stadium. I'm just screaming in the microphone, going, go, 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 go! Trying to get him to come to with that, but yeah. Fun times. Right. Go and bath your son so you don't get in trouble with the missus, and I will see you in the week. Nathan Edge, what a legend. Off you go, my friend. See you later, mate. See you in a bit. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. More from Nathan in the week. And if you want more of that drama, make sure you join us on Tuesday night on Mansfield 103.2. As Roger says, Craig's voice is screeching. What you didn't hear there was the reaction of Lee Wilson, who's always alongside me for Mansfield 103.2 as well. We'll make sure we get that for the next game, because it's always a great laugh as well. But thanks very much for all your comments. Thanks very much for getting involved with the show this evening as well. It's great to have the Sunday sermon back. We will be back in the week as we react to Tuesday night's game. That, though, is all we've got time for tonight. Can Mansfield Town continue their excellent form of late? 12 games, 10 wins from those last 12. Can the Stags bounce back? Can they get 3 points on the board against fellow playoff chasers Swindon on Tuesday? Get your tickets, get to One Call Stadium and back the boys. This has been an incredible journey so far. 2 League One teams were slayed on the way to round 3. And a championship side, and not just any championship side, a promotion-chasing championship side, were taken to the brink too. Mansfield Town continue to fill us with pride, continue to play with passion, and continue to follow a dream. We'll be there to follow it all the way on Tuesday. Join us on Mansfield 103.2 if you can't get to the game for extensive updates and much, much more of that. And make sure you join us here on Mansfield Matters in the week for more reaction. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? because Mansfield always matters. And one lesson we can take away from today's Sunday sermon is 3 simple words: never give up. Until next time, goodbye.